Let us start with the title. Chernyshevsky's book is entitled, What is to be Done? And he presents it as part of Tales About New People, the book's subtitle. The crucial thing is the new people. What are these new people like, and why are they superior? The title appears in a little prequel for the preface to the book, whose initial section is entitled The Fool. The fool is, apparently, a man who seems to commit suicide, killing himself either with a gunshot to the head or a jump off a bridge. A crowd has gathered around the scene. The progressives in the crowd think that perhaps the suicide episode was staged. Conservatives are of a divided opinion. Perhaps a man was drunk or had gone broke or was simply a fool. There is no dead body. They cannot find it even after scouring the river. But there is evidence of a gunshot, and there is a hole through a hat that has been found at the scene. Later we find out more about the shooting. The man has some relationship with a woman named Vera Pavlovna, and has left a note for her. She reads the note and thinks that she has been a murderer, that she drove the man to suicide. We don't really know the significance of this until later. After this prequel, there is a preface, and the preface begins with the words, "The subject of this work is love. The main character is a woman, and this woman is Vera Pavlovna." Chapter 1 is entitled Vera Pavlovna's Life with Her Family. Chapter 1 has 9 subsections, each set apart with a small Roman numeral. In this chapter, we learn of Vera's education and of her aspirations. Her family manages an apartment building in Petersburg for a wealthy widow and her son. Vera's father is an assistant to the head of a government department, and he is a pawnbroker on the side. Vera's domineering mother, Marya Alexeyevna, seems to run the household, and she conducts some shady business with risky pawning. Marya is most interested in arranging a marriage between Vera and the son of the apartment building owner. Vera receives an education in propriety. Marya chastises the girl for not crossing herself when they pass a church. "Can't you see that all good people cross themselves?" she says. Not piety, but propriety. Vera attends private school. She takes piano lessons. She learns to sew for her entire family. She is beautiful. And her mother insists that she learn to spruce herself up even more so as to attract a man. The mother is always angling to find Vera an acceptable mate. It is the number 1 item on her to-do list. And by acceptable mate, she means someone with money, with wealth. But that there is more than that. Near the end of the first section of chapter 1, Marya says this to her daughter in recognition that she has been dishonest and mean. "I know, Verchoka. In your books it says only dishonest and mean people prosper. It's all true, Verchoka. Even your father has some money now. I got it for him. I have some of my own too, maybe even more than he has. And I got that to support myself in my old age. And then your father, the fool, started to respect me. Now he's at my beck and call. I have him well trained. Before that, he persecuted me and humiliated me. For what? He didn't need a reason, Verchoka. It was just because I wasn't mean enough. Your books say that we're not supposed to live like this. Don't you think I know that, Verchoka? But in those books of yours, it says that in order not to live like this, everything has to be organized differently. Now, no one can live any other way. But why don't they hurry up and set up a new order? Oh, Verchoka, do you think I don't know anything about these new systems described in your books? I know they're good ones. Your books say that the old order is one of filching and fleecing. That's true, Verchoka. So if there's no new order, let's live by the old, filch and fleece. Marya is a very self-conscious adherent to the old order. She is a survivor. The only things that people respect in the old order are wealth and power. She figured that out soon enough to dominate her marriage. She is going to apply the same principles to helping out her daughter. She is going to arrange it so that the daughter can get ahead in a system of filching and fleecing. But notice that she also recognizes this old system as vicious. She understands why it is vicious. She embraces a new system, or at least would like to see it come about. She is not so stuck in the old ways. Vera, we learn, is quite progressive. She is reading these books about the new ways, about a new coming order. And she must find this new order inspiring. Generally, recognize that character follows the mode of production here. Of course the mother is mean, because only filching, fleecing, and dominating allows you to get ahead in the old order. If she does not dominate her husband, he will dominate her. Perhaps if there was a new order, there would be a better character and a better relation. It is in this context that Vera meets Julie, a French woman and a former prostitute. Julie begins to open up Vera's eyes to the virtue on the other side of the tracks. Julie seems to have given up on marriage, which she considers a yoke and a prejudice. She is comfortable with her disrespectable life. She shuns the mercenary ways of Marya. But in the end, as we see in section 6, Julie's advice to Vera is little different from her mother's. Julie advises Vera to marry the landlord's son. Why? Julie began to list the advantages. You'll escape from your mother's persecution. You'll end the danger of being sold off. He's not an evil man, just not too bright. A man who's not evil yet not too bright makes the best kind of husband for a clever woman of character. You'll be the mistress of your house. She described in vivid colors the position of some actresses and dancers who don't submit in love to their men and who dominate them. This is the best possible position for a woman in society, except when, at least as far as society is concerned, the woman receives not only independence and power, but formal legal recognition. I'm in such a position. That is, when a husband relates to his wife as an admirer does to an actress. But Vera does not want to settle. She does not want to submit to anyone. She does not want to dominate anyone. She does not want to be obligated to anyone for anything. She does not want to demand anything from anyone. She wants to be free. So Vera attacks Julie's vision in the name of freedom. She would only reconcile herself to love if she maintained her freedom and independence. Love, for Vera, has no submission and no obligation that does not arise from the free giving of her will. For Vera, whose name means truth, freedom, independence, and love must go together to be worth their names. The goods of the world are not in conflict, but that conflict must be transcended on a higher plane. That is the promise of the new order. Vera is not exactly sure what all this entails at this point, but she does know that her love must transcend the calculation characteristic of her mother's talk and the will to dominate characteristic of Julie's. In the face of Vera's noble aspirations, Julie confesses that she is a corrupt woman and that she has been corrupted by her idleness and her love of luxury, by the fact that she is not strong enough to live on her own and that she needs people for other things. Hers is a need love. It is not like Vera's free, independent love. Julie, who stands outside of acceptable opinion, will not be the last person to recognize Vera's superiority. In section 7, the landlord's son finally makes a definitive move on Vera. He has decided that she would be a great wife. What brought him to that decision? Vera's resistance to him inflamed his desire. He wanted the sense of pride in possessing a beautiful woman. He thought a wife such as Vera would advance his career in society. His pride, his desire to possess, his need for sensuality, his calculation about his role in society, all of these show his lack of development. Vera rejects him in section 7. Vera rejects him again in section 8. Vera's mother in section 9 thinks that Vera is playing a sophisticated game of three-dimensional chess, where repeated refusals heighten the man's desire. But no such thing is going on. Vera takes his gifts, but she avoids him, and she avoids her mother. She cannot find a way out of this predicament. And this is how chapter 1 ends. Now notice what we have here. Vera's understanding of love and marriage come into conflict with three different conceptions of love and marriage. It is Vera against her mother, her suitor, and even Julie. Her mother reduces marriage and love to a species of calculation. Does the marriage, she asks, better my condition? This means that the match will be conducted for wealth and power. And the best condition for a woman would be to marry a wealthy man that she can dominate. The suitor is interested in Vera because she has resisted his will, and this inflames his desire to possess her. He understands love and marriage in terms of possession. Lastly, and more subtly, Julie would like the marriage to be free, but her character is too weak to genuinely embrace such freedom and independence. Her love of luxury and her idleness lead her to desire a marriage or a relationship where she is taken care of. Vera criticizes all of these relations. None of them are free. She would like a marriage without possession or dependence or importance in the eyes of society. Each partner must be independent within the relationship. How one can be independent within a relation is yet to be shown. This is a great challenge, as love generally means a sort of dependence, where each person in the loving relationship depends on the other. It seems that love generally means that human beings have a need for company, that they have a need not to be alone. It is easy for Vera to condemn those who confuse love and calculation, but it is not so easy to square love and independence. And this is what Vera insists upon doing. And that seems to be what Chernyshevsky has in mind as the chief characteristic of these new people. Vera is going to need some help to get away from her mother and to get away from her suitor. She does not want to show disrespect to her mother, though her mother is not, in her eyes, respectable or well-developed. She needs to spring from her house, and she will need some help to do that. But she needs a deeper kind of help as well. Someone needs to instruct her on how to square love and independence. We will see how both these things occur in chapter 2, which is entitled First Love and Legal Marriage.